Welcome back to Cold Aaron's Kitchen. I'm Wade. I've had a heck of a day today. Had to replace a toilet. Made me unhappy. But I decided I wanted some comfort food. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make some gumbo. Some Creole gumbo. Now, if you look down here in this pan here, we got a smidge of olive oil and we got some butter going. Now, when these things get melted together, I'm going to put in this half cup of flour. Now, traditionally, the dishes start with a dark roux. That's R-O-U-X, roux. And so we're going to come back when we're starting to put the roux together. See you in a minute. Hi, we're back. Well, the butter and the olive oil have melted together, and we put the flour in, and now we're going to stir this. Now, when you're making a dark roux, you have to keep moving it because you don't want it to burn on the bottom of the pan or you're going to start all over again. So we're going to cook this. It's going to take about 10 minutes to cook this roux down to where I want it. But when it's done, we'll be back to show you how to put the rest of it. Hi, we're back. The roux, after approximately 8 minutes, has turned into a beautiful caramel color. And that's what we're going to use to thicken our dish with. But we're going to swap in and put a different pan in play. We're going to put a little olive oil in that. Now, down south, they'd probably put lard or butter or whatever, but I try to fake being healthy. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to saute up our meats and veggies. Now, what I got here is a 1/4 pound of chicken breast and a 1/4 pound of andouille sausage. Now, if you cannot get andouille sausage, you can use any pork sausage you like. It's your dish. And you can spice it up the way you like it, but we're just going to show you how we work it here. So we're going to pop that stuff in there. And it's going to think about sizzling here soon. But while that's down there, since we're going to cook it all together and get all the flavors to dance, we're going to put in about a cup of onions, chopped. We're going to put in about a half of a red bell pepper, because I like red bell peppers. We're going to put in a half of poblano chili, because it was in the fridge. And we're going to put in about a cup of celery and a cup of frozen okra. I say frozen okra because I can't get fresh here. Just doesn't show up. So I'm going to get these ingredients going together, and we're going to come back to you. Hi, we're back. Now the veggies and the meat have sweated down kind of nice here. You see it's got a little broth growing there. But we need a little more broth than that. So what we're going to put in is a cup of chicken broth and a cup of water. Adds a little bit to the flavor. We're going to put in a can of diced tomatoes. That adds to the color. Now we need to season this up. And you know, in Creole and Cajun cooking, seasonings is everything. So we got about half a teaspoon of garlic powder. We got about half a teaspoon of smoky paprika. You don't have to use smoky if you don't want to. We got about a teaspoon and a half of Cajun seasoning. And we got, half a teaspoon of cayenne. And we got some coriander. That's just a whimsical thing for me. Coriander. A little bit of cumin. About a 1/4 teaspoon. A couple shakes. And then we're going to put in some pain. Now you can use Tabasco sauce or anything you like. I just happen to make this stuff and I like it. About a teaspoon, maybe a tablespoon. Okay, it's looking good. Alrighty. Now, this has got to grow together for about 30 minutes. And at that time, we're going to come back and thicken it up. And then we're going to add the final ingredient, which is a 1/4 pound of shrimp. We're going to put a rough chop on that shrimp. But I guarantee you won't like this. See you in a bit. Hi, we're back. Now, you notice I have a nice, deep, dark roux here. Now, the roux is going to be thickening this. Now, you want this to be somewhere between a soup and a stew. You don't want it too stiff because, well, it's served over rice. So let's take a look, see what this is going to do here. Oh, it's starting to look pretty good. Now, we might have to cook it a little while. Make sure we get it to the right consistency. I'm thinking we need a little more roux. I thought I made too much. Well, I didn't make too much, but I'm going to put the rest of it in a container and put it in the fridge for the next soup, stew, whatever I'm doing. Now let's just let this stuff boil together, and back to you with the final ingredient. Hi, we're back. Now, if you look at the consistency of that, it's right between a soup and a stew, which is what you're looking for. Now the final ingredient, 1/4 pound of shrimps with a rough chop on them. Now you put this in last because you don't want your shrimps to cook for too long. We're going to be letting this go for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to dish up. Now, when you're dealing with this stuff, you want to start with a nice crusty bread. Now this is a beer bread, but that's a recipe I'll get into later. Talk to you in a minute. All right, we're back. The shrimps are just done the way you like them. Just look at that. That's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Now what we're going to do is dish some up. I'm going to get me a handful of rice here, or a spoonful or two. Just like that. Right there. Okay, so we got some rice, and now we got to get our ladle. Shovel some of this out on top of it. Yeah, I made a little mess on the side there, but here we go. Here's gumbo. Got some crusty bread here we're going to eat with it, and we're going to have some dinner. Thanks for watching.